Every time we're hitting the model or everyone's hitting the model, I mean, it's going to a data center somewhere. They're having to fulfill that need somewhere on around the globe at all these data centers. And by all accounts, they're just running out. There is nowhere, there is sometimes just not enough data centers to fulfill the requests that are coming through. And that's why they're building this project Stargate. That's why Meta's building this data center as big as Manhattan, because they believe and they're seeing that this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of requirements here. And they cannot fill demand. And OpenAI CTO is saying we could have unlimited use of this just ourselves. We could use up all of our capacity just ourselves, just our firm.
Yeah.
So there is just this. I'm sure there's stuff going on behind the scenes because they're trying to maintain whatever product they're selling. They maintain the capability to provide it, but maybe they just can't physically provide it. They don't have the physical infrastructure to actually provide it, which is mind-boggling.
Well, I've heard economists say that the US would actually currently be in recession if it weren't for the capital expenditure on data centers
Yeah.
and expanding this capacity. I mean, that alone is kind of propping up the US economy at this point, which is,
Yeah.
whether that's technically true or not, the fact that it's even plausible that the levels of spending are so high that that's plausible is pretty remarkable.
Yeah. Again, another reason why saying we're in a bubble is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The real story of usage tells you the exact opposite. It's just the beginning, really. It's just the beginning. Um, Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we talked about this a month ago. Like, there's a stat, like, they think that we might have to spend by the end of the decade $1 trillion a year just to keep up with demand. I mean, it's just crazy to think about. $1 trillion in infrastructure, physical data center infrastructure. I mean, there was an announcement in New Zealand just the other week that $11 billion from Amazon is going into a data center. I mean, I just read a headline, but in New Zealand alone, $11 billion for a data center. So, I mean, we're a country of 4 to 5 million people. So,
Is that all?
yeah,
Wow. I didn't realize the population was that small.
yeah. So, there's just going to be such a need for these things. And the only people that can build them are big tech and large venture capital money. Like, it's the
Yeah.
only people that can actually build this stuff. I used a desktop commander the other day, after you told me to use it. And I've used it one other time since. But man, I found that fascinating. I found that totally fascinating.
Spectacular.
And I built a dashboard. I actually posted about the dashboard that I created, and I was just like, I just, I mean, not everyone's gonna do this, but not everyone's gonna switch to that tomorrow. But it was very easy to set up, like super easy to set up. It was the most seamless MCP connection that I
Mm,
used to set anything up. So that shows you that the connections are becoming easier, which is good. Um, but
it's got a really slick web page. It's got,
yeah,
good
yeah.
instructions.
But I mean, and it was free too. I mean, it didn't cost me anything. Um, the um, the ease in which I was able to get insights. I mean, it was just like I just totally could not see the ongoing utility of Excel, traditional Excel. I couldn't see the ongoing utility of that, and even in some cases, lower level Power BI work, like easier, more simpler Power BI work. Um, I was struggling to see the long-term durability of that when I used desktop, like the combination of desktop commander and Claude desktop. Just the speed I was able to get in it, the versatility, the dynamic way I could create it. I mean, it was just like so superior in all different dimensions. So man, that was an interesting experience, really interesting experience. I mean, it's not the best thing to post on LinkedIn, obviously, because of who owns LinkedIn. But I
You
just,
you got a lot of play on that post.
yeah, I think people somewhat saw it. I'm interested to get your take on that, like in terms of just, I mean, you've been saying this for almost a year now, but about that's sort of the future, and it's just like no doubt at the moment. But I keep getting. I just want to call out something that I find quite fascinating. Is you keep getting the rationale even today that, well, how do you validate? How do you validate these insights? How do you know that they're right? I don't know what you think about this, but I kind of think a little bit cynically, and I say, well, how did you know before? I mean, when you looked at a Power BI report, how did you know that it was right? Did you look at the formula? How do you know that when someone put an Excel spreadsheet in front of you, unless you like dug really deep into it, how did you know it? How did you validate it then? Like I don't actually see like the way you validated it with was with intuition. That's how you validate your reports and insights. It's how you did it before. I think it's how you do it now. You do it now. Like if you're using AI to create insights, you let the AI do the work, you validate with your intuition, right? Yes, you can go and dig a little bit deeper if you want, which is kind of it's just is easier than it was historically. But intuition played a role historically, and it plays a role now when if you're using it for other tools. And so that I kind of like roll my eyes a little bit now when I see those comments on my posts or other people's posts about, well, it's AI. How do you validate it? And I keep going back to, well, how did you validate it before? Like
Right.
it's exactly the same, exactly the same. I mean, it was a long time ago now, but like when I was in meetings showing reports or doing Excel stuff, people would be like, "Oh, are you sure that's right? Are you sure that's right?" And you'd have to go and like test your logic. Like it was just intuition, intuition. Nothing's going to be perfect.
Well, that's what people would always say, well, AI hallucinates. I'm like, you know who else hallucinates? Humans. Yeah. The best experts in the world are wrong,
Yeah,
some percentage of the time. And
yeah.
to me, it's like I kind of look at, this there's a great article that I reposted about that was posted by the folks at Pulse MCP called it was um about what the agentic loop and the power of AI with kind of the desktop commander capability and so the ability to access files, read files, run code locally at the terminal, and then also to have vision. So if you take
Mm,
Playwright and Desktop Commander, so Playwright
mm,
lets
mm,
you lets you have vision to the web and screenshots, and it can press buttons. It can
mm,
basically act like a user. So it can test interfaces.
mm,
It can validate, it can help validate analyses. And so it's really interesting that there's a guy, and I want to shout him out. His name is Maxim Manatsko, and he has done something quite spectacular in the Power BI world, which is he has an MCP server that now connects to Power BI and can run DAX and performance traces natively. And
Very cool.
that is enormous. Like no one has
Yeah.
ever, to my knowledge, been able to do that before. And I talked to him today. I wrote about it today, and he's got a video. It's like a 13-minute video. And if you are a Power BI user, go watch that video because that to me that's the last link somebody needed to create, which is that in the past you've all AI is no matter how smart AI gets with DAX and Power BI, it in order to evaluate whether something is correct, it has to take that DAX, convert it to Python or convert it to JavaScript, and then try to get the Python or JavaScript to mimic what DAX does in context. And
Mm,
so
mm,
you have two sources of error in that, one of which the original code might not be right. And so the DAX measure or the DAX query wrote might be wrong, but it also may be flawless. And the chances it probably is flawless, given the fact that AI models are now awesome at writing that stuff.
yeah.
The place where you get the problem is that it can't execute that natively. And he has solved that problem. And it now
Mm,
through MCP, he has a function that will use the Power BI semantic model and the connection to run the DAX natively.